Okay, the first mistake that you want to avoid at all costs is overpricing your home. This home that you're listing for $500,000 is beautiful, but at the end of the day, there's another house down the street and it's priced for $450,000. If you overprice your property, your house ends up sitting on the market, and that is something that really affects you. Honored to help you in your journey, whether you're relocating in a month or you're relocating in a year. We would love to help you. And I do want to say this because I've had a lot of questions around this. We also have referral partners. So even if you're not interested in purchasing a home here in El Paso, we have trusted referral agents that we can refer you to, whether that's in California or in Mexico. So with that being said, definitely keep that in mind. I am also an investor in the area, and I like to share that with you because I have a lot of people that ask me questions geared around, hey, is this a good area to buy for an Airbnb? Hey, is this something that you would recommend for a flip? Hey, is this something that you recommend as a first-time home buyer that's going to relocate in 2 years? So I like to share with you that I am an investor, so I have to be very aware because I don't just sell you homes, I actually buy homes myself. So with that, let's get into the costly mistakes that you do not want to fall privy to. Okay, the first mistake that you want to avoid at all costs is overpricing your home. There's way too many people right now that are overpricing their property, and trust me, as a seller myself, I want to get the most for my house when I'm selling my property, okay? Especially if I put money into it, right? You do the paint, you do the floors, you do the pool, you do the things, and at the end of the day, you want to get a return on your investment. But here is the reality. A lot of these things that you might be seeing as valuable, I'll give you an example. Let's say you put this beautiful oak tree in your backyard and you put this majestic pool and the whole shebang, right? At the end of the day, the property that you are listing is going to have a very, very huge impact based off what is in your area. So let's just say, I'm gonna give you a quick example. Your house is for $500,000, okay? And this home that you're listing for $500,000 is beautiful. It has everything that you've updated for it. But at the end of the day, there's another house down the street that looks very beautiful as well, and that has all the amenities that you've done, and it's priced for $450,000, okay? Now, the thing that you want to understand here is that when we're in a seller's market, that is something that is to your advantage, right? Because there's not a lot of demand in terms of the buyers, and there's less supply, meaning the houses. So what happens is that if you're in a seller's market, obviously, since you have, again, more buyers, less inventory, people are willing to overpay. They're willing to pay you what you're asking for. The truth is, we're in a buyer's market. At least in my area, that is something that we're experiencing. And I've heard from other agents as well, agents in Washington, agents in California, agents in Las Vegas. They're telling me very similar situations. But another thing that we're noticing is that it also depends in the area. So there's some areas that are moving. There's some areas that I literally just experienced this the other day. I was going to make an offer for a client. I called to follow up with the agent to make sure that it was available because some agents do not update their listings. That's a whole other story. But I called them to make sure it was available. And long story short, the agent told me they had 4 offers. I was like, am I like calling during COVID times? Like, what's going on? So it is something that can happen, and I want to just prepare you on that. It's not likely though. It is not very likely, especially when it comes down to your house. If it's something that it's priced a little bit on the higher end, anything above $250,000 in my area is considered a medium average home. So anything between 300 to 500 is what you're going to see a lot of first-time home buyers, second-time buyers, investors, you know, anybody that's looking to really just get a house that's not necessarily a starter home, but something that is going to be a well-equipped home for them to live in the next couple of years. I mention this because if you overprice your property, chances are that you are going to be competing with these other houses, and there's so much inventory on the market that your house ends up sitting on the market. And that is something that really affects you, because at the end of the day, somebody like me can see how many days on the market you have been. And if I see your house and I'm representing a buyer in this situation, what is going to happen is I'm going to call your agent and I'm going to say, hey, we noticed that you have your house on the market and it's been for about 200 days on the market. I have a client that's interested, but I don't want to waste your time. So I just want to let you know right off the gate that my client is going to be submitting an offer with full closing costs and it's going to be $20,000 below asking price. Is this something you guys are even open to considering? And I'm telling you, 9 out of 10 times I have people say submit the offer. Why? Because they've been on the market for so long that they're willing to accept something less than what they were originally expecting. So pricing your home at the best time where you know it's going to get the best out of that result that you're looking for. What I mean by that is making sure you're pricing it correctly, making sure that you see the market, that you see what's going on in that area. And this is why it's so essential to work with people that are actively selling and buying real estate so that you know what you should price it for. I have a property myself that I'm looking to sell right now. And it's a great property, it's in a great area. And I timed it for about a month on the market and it had like very slow showings. That told me that the market in that area was a little slow. So what I decided to do is I rented it. I rented it out because I was like, you know what? I'm not going to take a haircut on the property. I want what I want. And I decided to rent it. But I know that that's not something that I can do with every single property. So this is where you want to be very strategic and know what is the right option for you. Okay, mistake number 2 is missing the pre-listing checklist. And if you are looking for a checklist, go ahead and click on the link down below. I have a ton of free resources for you guys. Go ahead and download them, use them, call us if you need any help with them. But essentially it's a checklist that is going to help you make sure that you get the most for your property. So I've seen a lot of houses that go on the market and their agent does not do any cleanings for the property. And I'm telling you, not every agent is going to pay for somebody to go and clean your property. We actually do pay for somebody to go clean your property. Although I have a lot of clients that sometimes tell me, no, like our house is clean, thank you very much. We don't need that, which is perfectly fine. But making sure that your house is clean, making sure that it's smelling good, making sure that you retouch the little paint here and there that you could do is going to help you so much. And I'm telling you from experience, I've seen properties, I've walked properties. We just finished actually 2 days ago going to this property out in the west side. The house was beautiful, but it had a lot of TLC that it needed. If those sellers would have simply painted the interior, like it wasn't major stuff, but you could tell they had kids and you know, the walls and fingerprints. I have 2 boys, I totally get it. But I'm telling you, if they would have just painted, they would have had some like fresh candles turned on. They would have, you know, actually had all the lights turned on for us, all the light bulbs working. All of these things make such a difference because if you're not prepared, what's going to happen is somebody's going to see it and you only have 1 chance to make a good first impression, just like a date, right? So if you go to the property and you see that it smells like cat piss, chances are you're not gonna go back. And this is why I've noticed a lot of people sometimes they don't actually realize how important the pre-check list before they go live on the market is. And sometimes you're going to have amateur agents that are honestly very afraid to tell you, hey, your house, it needs some work. But that's why you want to get with a trusted advisor that is not afraid to tell you what is going to help you. Because I know that whenever I'm hiring a coach, whether that's to, you know, for personal development or whether that's for investing strategies, I'm paying them for something. I'm paying them to become better at whatever it is that I'm, you know, paying them to do. You are paying a licensed realtor to get you the most for your house, and they should be able to tell you what are the things that are going to help you in that journey to listing your property. Okay, now mistake number 5. Yes, I think we're 5 now, is not vetting your agent. And I'm going to tell you this, and if you haven't seen my other video on interview questions for an agent, I'll have that link down below. But I am telling you, if you don't know who you're working with, you're going to get yourself in a pickle. It's not going to be fun. And even though maybe it's your friend and maybe it's a family member and, you know, whatever the case is, do your own research, do your own research, do your own research, because there's a lot of times, and I've heard this from my own clients, well, we went with that agent because it was referred from the military family that we worked with at one point, and you know what, it was a nightmare. they didn't do their research. They just went based off one perspective. And this is why for you, you want to stalk them. You want to go on their Instagram. You want to go on their Facebook. You want to go on their TikTok. You want to see what they're about because they are a brand for your property. And I'm here to tell you, I'm sorry, but this is the truth. There's a lot of agents that are not active on social media at all. And they're getting your listings and they're sitting on the market and you're like wondering like, why is my house not selling? Is it because I'm overpriced? No, Betty, your realtor, took some horrible pictures because she was stingy and didn't want to pay for a professional photographer to go out there. And now your house is sitting on the market. And I'm telling you, this is something that a lot of people do not like to hear, but it's the truth. There's a lot of agents that would rather save the $600 that it costs to take some really nice photos of your house because they want to keep more money in their pocket. And you know, to each their own. For me, it's my reputation that's most important, and I want to make sure that your property shines, because if your property shines and you're happy with me, you're happy with my team, and we continue to refer each other out. You continue to refer me to your clients or your friends or your family. This is why finding your agent that really cares about you and the value that they can bring to you, because it's an equal exchange. Like I've heard a lot of people in comments before, like, agents get paid too much. Like, look, a good agent is worth it, okay? A good agent that's going to do the marketing, that is going to do the ads, that is going to do all of the PPC, all of the funnel, all of the traffic, all of the things that are going to help you is worth it. And something that's a little controversial, but I will say it, there's a lot of agents that they think that by just sitting at an open house, like that's a great job. I'm sorry, but that doesn't really help. Like nowadays, think about it. When you're looking at an open house, chances are it's the nosy-loos. It's the people that are around the community that just want to go see your property. And I know this is controversial and I'm okay with it, but think about it. When you're trying to get your house sold and you want to get a qualified buyer into your property, this is your house, by the way. Like this is your domain. This is your sanctuary. Having a bunch of unqualified buyers through your property, to me, just doesn't seem fair. It's causing wear and tear on your carpets, if you have carpets, on your tile, on your hardwood floors. People that, again, like you don't know, like at an open house, like what if they go upstairs and they put a hidden camera in your house? Like what if, there's so many things that can happen that for me personally, open houses is something that I'm a little reserved about. If a client wants me to do an open house, I will do the open house for you. But I just believe that there's better strategies, especially with social media nowadays, that are going to get you a better result. We run ads for our clients. We run marketing campaigns for our clients. We send out to all of our agents and all of our clients, hey, we have a new listing. This is what we're offering. These are the incentives that we have going on. Bring me a qualified buyer. And it also helps that we work with buyers ourselves. So we have a lot of buyers that we're looking for another property. And because we have your listing now, it's like, hey, this is a perfect property for you. We come to a meeting of the minds and your house is under contract. I do believe that not choosing the right agent could really affect you. So make sure you do not skip that one. But anyways, we got this, we figured it out. So with that, your utility cost and carrying all of the information. This is a big mistake. And what I mean by this is many homeowners forget to save the expenses that they're going to need for like their HOA fees or insurance or mortgage. And they're like, oh, we're on the market. We don't need to do another mortgage payment. That is not the approach you want to take, because as you know, it can take a little bit longer to close on a deal. And if something happens, you do not want to be on default. You don't want to be the one that's going to be now having to pay at the last minute for your mortgage, your insurance, your taxes, whatever it is. I always recommend that you continue to pay everything. You keep your utilities on, you keep everything on until you hear these magical words, which is clear to close. Once you hear that, go for it. But before that, I am very hesitant with that, because a lot of sellers, sometimes they will want to deactivate their alarm system and, you know, stop making payments toward all these additional things. And at the end of the day, if the deal, for some reason, again, it can happen, it's real estate, falls through Now you're upset because you're like, well, I was expecting not to make a payment. It's like, well, you shouldn't have expected that. We need to make sure that you have clear expectations from the beginning so that you have no surprises. Now, mistake number 6, and this is something that you want to speak to your accountant about. I'm just giving you some feedback here, but there is a lot of tax exclusions and relocation incentives that you might qualify for. So your 1031 exchange, sometimes there's a first time seller pack incentive. There's a ton of things that you might not be aware of, and if you ask your agent, they can tell you more about this, but you really want to be prepared to ensure that there is no money that you're leaving on the table. And a quick little bonus for you is I always recommend that you have an inspection done for your property, that you have a cleaning done for your property, like I mentioned before, that you have anything that you can done for your property before even contacting your agent, because this allows you to know exactly what it is that you're going to sell. And if there's anything that you can start working on, maybe you're not thinking about selling your house until, 3 months down the road. Well, you can already hire an inspector. Just search on your area, local licensed inspectors, very important, the word licensed. And essentially you go ahead and reach out to them and you let them know, hey, I want you to do an inspection on my property. That's what I did with the home that I was telling you that I was listing. I already had an inspection report ready. So if there was anybody that was going to make an offer, I was prepared to send that inspection report to them so that I would tell them, these are the things that I am going to do. These are the things that I'm not going to do. Take it or leave it, but it saves everybody so much time and it allows you to have clarity. Make sure that you vet the agent that you're going to hire. Plan for your expenses correctly and make sure you're utilizing all of your incentives and ensure that you have your house ready for your listing. So with that being said, I hope this video was helpful. If you do have any questions, feel free to drop it down below on the comments. All of my information is there. Follow us on social media. On Instagram is the place that I am the most active. So if you are looking to relocate into El Paso, or if you know of anybody that is, let us know. We would love to help. And with that being said, I hope you have a fabulous day. I will talk to you guys on the next one.